The first feature in this update is the Hair Manager. After launching Blender, press N to display the right sidebar to locate the add-on we just installed, and you'll find the 3D Hairbrush Operation panel. In the top right corner, you'll see the Hair Manager panel, which is an updated feature in this version. Before explaining the updated features, let's think about this. How do we add hair in the new hair system? And how do we manage hair layers? You might want to press Shift+A, go to Curve, and select Empty Hair. However, after creating it, you won't see any guides. You'll need to enter Sculpt mode and use the Add brush to manually add guides. This workflow can be cumbersome and reduce efficiency. Personally, I think generating hair in the particle system is more intuitive and convenient for artists. This add-on leverages the advantages of hair generation and management in the particle system and integrates them into the new hair system workflow. In the top right corner, click the plus sign to bring up the hair generation panel. Adjusting the parameters alone won't show any changes on the screen because the hair hasn't been generated yet. Click OK, and you'll see guides generated on the surface. After adding guides, you'll see the Add Hair panel in the bottom left corner. This panel is used to adjust the parameters of the generated hair, similar to the window just mentioned. The difference is that changes in this panel will update the hair in the view, allowing you to see the results in real time. Note that if you click on other areas in Blender, the panel will disappear. You can click F9 to bring up the panel and change the settings further. Now we'll explain the following options and parameters. First is the name field, where we can define the name of the newly added hair layer. Next up is Generate Hair. If we uncheck it, no hair will be generated, resulting in a blank state. When checked, the hair generation function is activated, allowing us to adjust the parameters below. For method, we have two options, by density and by quantity. Choosing by density generates hair based on density, while by quantity generates hair based on quantity. Let's start with the by density method. Adjusting the density value affects the density of the guides. A higher value results in denser guides. Let's try 500. Minimum distance adjusts the spacing between the guides. Raising this value will increase the distance between the guides, while decreasing it will reduce the distance. A higher minimum distance value will create more even hair distribution. Density and minimum distance can be used together for better control and achieving the desired effect. Now let's switch to the by quantity method. Count determines the number of guides generated. For example, setting the count to 10 will generate 10 guides. The next three parameters are similar to those in the particle system and will not be detailed here. Density mask uses vertex groups to control where the hair grows, recognizing the vertex groups on the mesh where the hair grows. Seed changes the random position of the guides. Length adjusts the length of the guides, and points sets the number of key points for guides, with a minimum of 2. At the minimum value, the guide will only have one segment and cannot be curved. The value of points depends on the length and complexity of the hairstyle being created. We've explained the parameters about add hair. Once the hair is generated, the next step is to switch to Sculpt mode to comb the guides. Normally, you would switch to Sculpt mode from the top left corner, which requires multiple clicks and can be cumbersome. This add-on simplifies this process with a Comb Hair button, allowing you to enter Sculpt mode directly. If you want to comb another layer of hair, there's no need to switch to Object mode. You can select the other hair layer in the Hair Manager panel and click Comb Hair to enter Sculpt mode. To delete guides, simply click the minus sign. We've covered the features for generating and deleting hair. These features are similar to those in the particle system, but are designed to be more user-friendly and efficient. Next, let's explore 3 additional features in the Hair Manager panel: Generate Hair, Duplicate Hair, and Copy Hair to selected objects. I'll explain the advantages of these features. Take this model as an example. After styling your hair, you might find there are too few or too many guides. We want to add more guides without changing the style or manually adding them in sculpt mode. How do we do that? This add-on provides a feature to solve this problem. Select the hair layer and click Generate Hair. A window similar to the Add Hair panel will pop up. Click OK, and you'll see the Generate Hair window in the bottom left corner. If you increase the count with Replace unchecked, the number of guides will increase based on the original guides, but the total count will not decrease. If Replace is checked, the original hair will be replaced with new hair. If you notice changes in the hairstyle, you can check Length, Shape, Point Count under Interpolate to retain the length, shape, and number of segments of the original hair. This way, adjusting the count will then keep these parameters consistent with the original hair, thus disabling the length and points here. Let's look at Duplicate Hair. This feature is useful for creating different styles efficiently. Select one hair layer and click Duplicate Hair. This duplicates a hair layer below. You can then select the duplicated layer, click Comb Hair to enter sculpt mode, and modify the style based on the original hair layer without having to manually add a hair layer. Finally, Copy Hair to selected objects transfers hair to other models. First, select the target model, then the source model, and click OK. The selected hair will be transferred to the target model. With only active checked, only the selected hair layer in the Hair Manager panel will be transferred. When unchecked, all hair layers will be transferred. Be mindful of the model scales. Different scales may affect the transferred hair. So remember to check the scale before transferring. The Mapping Methods section determines how the hair is mapped during transfer. Nearest face position maps hair according to the nearest face, which may vary significantly if the models are different in shape. Normal projection maps hair based on the model's normals, which transfers a hair layer closest to the original distribution. Topology first transfers hair based on the topology of the source and target models. The add-on calculates the hair root positions and matches them on the target model. If the topologies differ, the selected mapping method will be used to determine the position. Match face orientation ensures the hair orientation matches the target model's face orientation. If not checked, the hair orientation will remain the same as on the source model, which can cause issues. The last option is Duplicate Node Tree. If checked, the transferred hair on the target model is completely independent, without any connection with the source hair. If unchecked, the hair parameters on both the source and target models will remain synchronized. If you want them to be independent of each other, check this option. This concludes the introduction to the features of the Hair Manager panel. See you next time.